Hey guys, it's Mike at Narcoleptic Customs. We have the starting of phase 2 for Project Stanley today. If you've watched some of the other videos, you know I fought the trans for a little bit. Talked to Kevin Hensley a couple months ago and he said to put a front pump in the transmission. So I decided, well, if I'm going to pull the trans to put a front pump in it, I'm going to go ahead and buy a converter. Well, so I bought a triple disc TCI torque converter for the 4L80 in this truck. So had that. So then I called Kevin and I was like, hey, you know, if I've got the trans out, I want to do this one time. So would you put a shift kit in for me? So he's going to build us a shift kit in the trans. So we got to get it pulled tonight so I can take it over to him on, I think it's like 2 days from now. So we're going to begin phase 2 by pulling the trans, getting it out of the way, and then I can start mocking up the transmission crossmember, a real transmission crossmember, not the one that was in here, because as you'll see later, it's kind of junky. So we're going to put a new transmission crossmember in it, but we're also going to build the torque arm suspension before we put it back, before we put the trans back in. So going to be a lot of work here in phase 2, really quick. Basically getting everything ready, suspension, trans, bigger transmission cooler, everything like that ready for when we do the turbocharger as part of phase 3. So, all right, I'm gonna get started, flip it to time lapse, get the truck jacked up, and get to work. So, pulling the trans, I'm gonna go ahead and drain it so we don't make that mess again. Nothing. Oh, that's awesome. Nothing. So while that finishes to drain, I'm gonna grab a 3/8 wrench and jump under and pull the drive shaft. You guys are in for a treat today. Steven's over helping, he got here a minute ago. So he's gonna pull the plugs, spark plugs on the motor, so we can rotate the torque converter and take the bolts out. So I'm gonna start working on the bolts I can get to and getting the transmission crossmember and everything like that pulled apart. All right guys, so I'm gonna pull the torque converter bolts, and to do that, I'm gonna pull the starter. That way I can get the bolt up in here and get it pulled out. Steven's still over there working on the spark plugs.
I only got one left.
Dang. So we got Steven down here. He's gotten the shift linkage undone. I've got the 2 trans bolts. I've got all the torque converter bolts out, 2 trans bolts on the passenger side. Now I'm gonna climb up in the hood of this to see how tall it is, and get the ones behind that are on top of the trans. All right, crossmember. Yeah.
Going down nice and slow. Do we need to go backwards or what?
I think we probably need to go backwards. Okay, so we released the Kraken. We took the torque or the trans cooler out of the grill area.
Oh, shit.
What?
Hold up.
All right guys, so we got about an hour and a half left. I was gonna wait and do the harness later, but since we got a little bit of time, I'm gonna go ahead and knock it out. Steven's gonna help. He's underneath. I had put the trans cooler under the body So he's taking all that wiring out, and I'm fixing to start doing all of this wiring, and we'll flip it over to time lapse, and that way it won't bore you. So move the speaker wire over here. Taking this stuff off. All right, all this crazy stuff down here. Okay. One nice thing about doing all of this is I'll be able to clean up all of this. So that will help quite a bit with how just bad this looks. All right, guys, harness is out. See, we got, looks a lot better in there. Trans is out.
Looks real empty in there.
It looks very empty in there, but poured some gas under the truck there. So we're gonna get it lowered down and moved out of the way. Well, that's weak. Oh, open that door up, though. All right, guys, that's it. I want to say thanks to Steven for coming over today and helping. We got the trans out, so step 1 of phase 2 is done. The truck is outside. We're really back and forth on if we're going to pull the motor and do the cam and trunnions. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to sell the harness. I really don't know on that end, so I don't know. Anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel to keep up with what's coming. Thanks.